Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a rather short video simply discussing the Georgia governor Republican primary in the state of Georgia, mainly between the incumbent governor Brian Kemp and his most notable opponent David Perdue, who is the former senator from the state of Georgia and endorsed by President Trump. It does seem like they did come to an agreement between Trump and Perdue. Perdue wanted to run for the Senate against Raphael Warnock. However, Trump wanted Walker to be the nominee, so Perdue steps aside with that and decided to run for governor against Brian Kemp. At the moment, we have been seeing that although David Perdue has been endorsed by Donald Trump, he is not in the lead, and he does trail Brian Kemp by a significant margin. I don't believe that the landmark communications poll is as accurate as the actual polls are. I would, lean more on the Fox 5 polls, the Insider Advantage polls. I do think that they are slightly more accurate, not the Fox News poll. I don't believe in that poll as well. It's not that I don't believe in the poll. I just don't think that that's an accurate depiction of what's going on at the moment in the state of Georgia. I think that Brian Kemp, at least with regards to these polls, he's hovering very close to 50 points. Perdue very close to 40 points, and then everyone else behind him. Perdue has not really run the best campaign. He's, first of all, not the most charismatic man to run for any office, but, governor in particular. He doesn't have that charisma that even somebody like Ted Budd has, or, with Trump's nomination, he was able to surge against that former governor former governor. I forgot what his name is at the moment. Hopefully I can remember his name, Pat McCrory. But, he was able to surge because of that charisma. And, you look at all sorts of people, that Trump has endorsed throughout his time. J.D. Vance, also very notable, was the surge. However, Perdue just doesn't seem to have that fire in him, which is why he has been trailing. He hasn't really run on the more, I would say it this way, the more Republican version of the party. He has really simply run on the inflation and somewhat on immigration. I think that if he really wanted to win, he should have touted, he touted his hardline immigration policy. Keep in mind, he's in a Republican primary, so you're not running in the general at this point. You're in the Republican primary, so you're going to obviously want to show how Republican you are in a sense, and show what you truly do. So I don't think Perdue has run the best campaign against Brian Kemp. I think this was actually a very winnable campaign from Perdue's side if he wanted to win this. But it doesn't seem like he had the passion. Now, don't take this from me speaking that it's over yet. I do think that come tomorrow, you could possibly see Perdue holding Brian Kemp below 50%. Now, that is going to be what Perdue's goal has to be at this point. He doesn't really have a shot at obviously getting above 50 in my mind. At this point, the goal should be to get Brian Kemp below 50% to go to a runoff. Now, if I were to do odds, I think that probably Brian Kemp's chances of hitting below 50% are about 40%. I put it 60-40, 60% chance he cracks 50 and just straight up wins the primary, and 40% chance that Perdue gets him below 50. So obviously the odds are in Kemp's favor, but that does not mean that it is not impossible for David Perdue to hold this to a runoff. And if he manages to hold it to a runoff, he's going to have to, in the next few months, as this runoff goes on, I think the runoff's in August, but as it goes on, he's going to have to run more of a hardline conservative campaign, a hardline right campaign, similar to what Ted Budd did, similar to what J.D. Vance did. Similar to what many candidates that Trump endorsed did. I'm not going to include Doug Mastriano because Trump basically endorsed him a few days before the actual primary. But what we see from many Republicans who actually win these crucial primaries, the Trump endorsement only goes so far. You actually have to put in the effort with regards to what you're campaigning on and what values you're doing. If you're campaigning on tax cuts and deregulation, with the Trump endorsement, you're not going to win. You have to campaign on the specific culture problems that Republicans at the moment have a very, very good advantage in with regards to education. That is obviously a very big one. That's what got Glenn Youngkin the governorship in Virginia. With regards to immigration, that's also very crucial. When you look at those top priorities for the American people, what their biggest concerns headed into the midterms, immigration is up there. Of course, inflation should be talked about. but that should be among many of the other things. Crime, education, that can be critical race theory, that can also be the sexual education that's being taught, and then obviously they can play into all of that. But if you run on those issues, and if Perdue specifically runs on those issues in the conservative manner, he could win this primary, but he has to keep Brian Kemp below 50%. Now, I said it's 60-40. 60-40, Brian Kemp just wins it outright. That is what I'm putting the odds at the moment, but do not assume that this race is completely over. If Perdue manages to keep Kemp below 50, there is a shot that he could end up winning the primary, depending on how he actually campaigns in the runoff election. So anyway, that is really all the analysis that I have for you tonight. Stay tuned for another exciting day of primaries tomorrow. I don't believe that the next primaries that are as big as they are tomorrow will happen until June. We're going to get a few more exciting primaries in June, and then August is going to be a ton. So stay tuned for that, but a big day of primaries tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this big and important race in the Georgia governor primary. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you all very soon. Have a great day. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are 2 subscribers away from 560.